brother down. With Shizzy, Wiz, Nut.
An open letter to all. That didn't work. There we go. An open letter to the Anti-What the Hell's Brain Trust. The return of BBB. Same old loser, brand new scam. Dear Anti-What the Hell's echo chamber. You thought your fearless legal strategist was down for the count after getting wrecked in court, sanctioned, mocked, and tossed aside like a damp roach? But nope, BBB has rolled himself a fat new plan. And now expose her in, well. Imagine my total lack of surprise when Shara, your favorite former ally and now exposer-in-chief, dropped the receipt showing your precious BBB crawling back to his natural habitat, hiding behind another lawyer while still trying to run the circus from backstage. A scheme so laughably desperate it makes his previous screw-ups look almost dignified, but no. BBB has rolled himself a fat new plan, and thanks to Shara's surgical level expose, we now know the full depths of his next half-baked disaster. Let's break it down real slow for you of those that are still busy learning how to tie your shoes. I recommend Velcro. It handles it so much better. BBB, aka Captain Blunt Rotation, still not using his name because frankly we don't reward that level of failure, a sanctions history longer than a CVS report, and the permanent glaze of a guy who hotboxed his car before logging onto Zoom. Yes, the same guy who got sanctioned by the court for his unhinged antics, and bailed like a coward when the time came to face the music is now, wait for it, tried to reinvent himself as a non-appearing co-counsel. You can practically smell the desperation through the PDF. Oh, and partnering with Scott Stark, who, if he has even one functioning brain cell, must have drawn the short straw of doom to get tied up with this disaster in human form. Yeah, Stark's name goes on all the filings. Lucky him. And BBB, well, he gets to do what he does best. Behind the scenes slimeball shit, like drafting motions riddled with typos, legal fantasy, and half-baked threats. Oh, you read that right. The guy who couldn't even stay in the courtroom without causing a meltdown is now your official voice to the world. Press releases, podcasts, media statements, because who wouldn't want their message delivered by a disbarred, disgraced, self-important stoner? Scott Stark, a lawyer, either brave, broke, or blissfully unaware of the human disaster he just hitched his wagon to, gets to clean up the mess and sign off on it. And it's all over his face. Because, hey, what's friendship if you don't get dragged into a disciplinary committee hearing together? Oh, now here's the comedy gold. Stark is getting a $4,500 flat retainer fee, which is basically chump change for a federal case that's already a smoking dumpster fire. And all the expenses are now dumped on the client. That's right, Lynette, on your happy ass, who, let's be honest, is broke enough to be crowdfunding her cat's vet bills, has come to foot every last litigation expense, plus a 40% contingency fee if any miracle settlement comes through. Ain't gonna happen. Even better, BBB gets 30% of that amount. Because naturally, he's gonna wet his beak after all that work he plans to dump on Stark. Lynette, honey, did you read this thing? You're broke enough to beg for GoFundMe crumbs, and these two legal Einsteins are setting you up to burn through cash before you even hit discovery. They set you up to lose. And then we must add the slap to Lynette's toothless face. If by some miracle the case settles, they're slapping a 40% contingency fee, right? That's nearly half of anything you might stumble into winning. Poof, gone. And don't think BBB's not licking his lips at that 30% cut of that pipe dream payday. Don't worry, if attorney's fees are awarded, they'll kindly deduct that from your settlement before they plunder the rest. How freaking generous. Let's talk about BBB's media skills. Now, this is the same guy who's your media voice. He's the one you're putting out there in front to give statements and prepare press releases. Newsflash, the man can't string together two coherent sentences with sounding like a cross between a paranoid conspiracy theorist and that weird dude ranting at the bus stop. And just when you thought he'd faded into oblivion, he pops back up, forced to appear live on Zoom for a judicial committee hearing. Oh yes, that happened. There he was, looking like a sweaty used car salesman who just got caught cooking the books, blabbering on while the committee politely listened, and we all know how that's going to end. Another round of professional humiliation. Right on cue. And it's actually painful to watch. BBB, a man who once dreamed of being taken seriously in the legal world, is now reduced to drafting pleadings on behalf of Lynette Preston, someone who's more famous for her GoFundMe grifts than any legal milestone. He's basically the legal version of that washed-up roadie who tells bar stories about the glory days while dragging chords behind real musicians. Oh, and let's not forget BBB's stellar track record with media strategy. This is the same genius who thought it was a good idea to spam YouTubers with emails bragging about his mac and cheese lawsuit. Yes, the one that got him sanctioned and laughed out of court, and who openly admitted he wanted to build an anti-what the hell's media ecosystem. Because nothing says good legal judgment like confessing your smear campaign in writing. And while he's juggling all of this, BBB is still clinging to that stoner lifestyle. He's dropping legal filings like he's halfway through a Snoop Dogg concert and then wondering why his deadlines keep going sideways. Lynette, I don't know who gave you the idea that this was a winning strategy. But when your legal team is literally two guys who look like they were plucked out of a late night infomercial for We Sue Because We Care, you might want to rethink some of your life choices. So let's break down some of his latest hits. Used every excuse in the book to dodge court, whining about bias and harassment while the judge swatted down his motions like a cat with a laser pointer. Famously failed to show up at a sanctions hearing, forcing the court to order him to explain himself like a naughty little boy. Filed a motion to vacate magistrate consent, rambling about fear of arrest and chilled accuracy, while somehow forgetting the simple truth. He's the one who kept screwing up. Oh, and Stark, buddy, good luck. You just tied yourself to a guy whose claim to fame is getting spanked by multiple judges, who treats the law like choose-your-own-adventure novel. Every motion he drafts is a ticking time bomb of procedural fail, and your name's the one going on it. I hope that $4,500 buys you a lot of Maylocks, because you're going to need it, sir. Let's not forget that BBB's last stint included obsessing over mac and cheese lawsuits, trying to con YouTubers into coverage, launching a coordinated smear campaign he bragged about in writing. His legal legacy is a tangled mess of frivolous filings, YouTube rants, and courtroom losses so bad they should be used in law school as cautionary tales. Now he's back, same scam, different day. To sum it up, this contract is a pathetic attempt by BBB to stay relevant, steal some spotlight, and suck up every dime he can out of a case that's already circling the drain. It's a disaster for Lynette, a gamble for Stark, and a guaranteed train wreck for anyone dumb enough to think that BBB is a secret weapon. But hey, keep telling yourselves you're winning. The rest of us, we're just here with popcorn. Watch you clowns crash and burn. He'll be somewhere in his mom's basement puffing away and convincing himself that this time he's the hero. But by all means, keep pretending you're playing 5D chess while the rest of us are watching you fail at Connect 4. With deepest insincerity and a hearty laugh at your expense, yours in total disbelief of how bad you are all at this, Shizzy Wiznut. Still wearing the Velcro shoes, still on the short bus, but somehow still better looking than your whole team.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy, Wiz, Nut.